Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blue Flame Podcasts. Sai Charles and my wife Rebecca here, and,
Hi.
and we're here to share part of our testimonies.
So we're thinking of doing it in like a three-part series, I guess. And we're
Yeah,
both going to be talking about our testimonies at the same time. I'll be saying a part and then he'll chime in what he feels like to say.
and I hope it's gonna be a blessing to everyone that's gonna be listening to us today, and the few episodes that we're gonna be sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you
So
want to start?
I don't know, where do you want me to start from?
So we're going to start at the very beginning. I can start if you don't want to start.
Sure, go ahead.
So I grew up in a semi-Christian home, I would say, more lukewarm. I remember from young on being told Sundays are the day of, going with God, but I was never shown a relationship during the week. Uh, I don't have any memory of my dad reading his Bible,
Yeah.
praying. It was mostly my mom praying. Uh, any sort of relationship wise with Christ beyond church
Yeah.
was my mom had worship music playing. And a couple times out of my childhood, I remember seeing her like worshiping at home with no congregation kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, really pushed on Sunday school, going to Sunday school, and during the week, youth group. Uh, when I was about 8, going to church, I remember God showed me a vision of an angel in church, which was pretty amazing. But I remember
How old
tapping
were
my
you?
8,
Okay.
tapping on my mom and saying, "Do you see that huge guy?" And my mom's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "There's a huge man behind the guy that was my dad's friend, behind so and so." And my mom taps my dad, and my dad's like, "What? What is she saying?" But I remember that was an encounter with God from a young age that marked me, not knowing that it marked me until now as an adult.
Yeah.
What else? Then there was like friendships would come and go. I remember from a young age, Satan using other people like neighbors and people at church calling me a boy, saying that I look like a boy, and trying to come against my gender from a very young age, which didn't work, but just the way that he connives and goes into kids.
Yeah, he has different ways of making someone feel
Less than.
less and not appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Uh, Same here. I was brought up in, can say it's a Christian home because my mom and dad were really never allowed around. So I and my siblings, my older siblings, are the ones who really took care of me when I was growing up.
Mm.
And that was from a very young age. I remember when I was mm, around 5 or 4 years old, that's when my mom and dad went separate ways, and my siblings, the older siblings, are the ones who used to take care of me and my young sister. That time she was around 1 or 2, something like that.
Mary.
Yeah, Mary.
Mm.
It wasn't easy growing up in such a,
Well, first of all, where did you grow up?
well, anyway, yeah, and nice that you brought that up. I I'm from Kenya, basically. I'm from Kenya, and during that time, we used to live in the country, right? And in the country, uh, there is nothing much. It's only farmland,
Yeah.
and that's the time, all the family uh, my mom and dad went separate ways, and no one was there to be the head of the home. My dad used to work in the
In the city,
city,
yeah.
and he often usually came maybe a month, one time in a month, just to see how we are doing. And when he will come, he'll bring some, some stuff like
Like groceries and stuff.
groceries, like uh, flour, salt, sugar, and then
Right.
he'll give my siblings some money, right,
Mm.
to buy some stuff when he's gone. And
So it was like a separate
yeah, it
lifestyle.
very, very separate because he used to live in the city. We as kids are living in the country.
Right.
Of course, some of my older siblings used to live in the city. They were going to school in the city, while some of us, the younger ones, were left in the country with some older ones to take care of them. Mom is gone, and she was not there anymore. They were separate. It's during those times that I remember when during the night, I told you about this. During the night, in the middle of the night, people will come, like we could hear footsteps and footsteps outside the home. And my older sister, because she was the oldest, she would scream and say, "Get out, go away from our home."
Mm.
And the people will never stop. Like they will just be walking around the house. You can imagine as a young child, right? And you hear people just walking
Mm-hmm.
around the house in the middle of the night. You're
Yes.
scared.
People.
Yeah, people. But to me, it seemed like people. Then after maybe 2, 3 hours, they are gone. Some they were even trying to open the door,
Mm.
but my older sister would go there and
Block.
block the door. So that's part of my upbringing until I reached to an age whereby uh, my dad took me.
Yeah, but what about your grandma? Because you said that your grandma raised
Oh,
you,
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
stayed
yeah,
with you
yeah.
for a bit.
Yes. So during that time when I was growing up with my older siblings, my grandma used to be there. Like she would, yeah, I have that
Like a caretaker
a
kind of.
caretaker kind of a thing. And I remember uh, going to, because we used to have bananas, right?
Mm.
So my grandmother used to make to get green bananas, and then she would put them in a pot
Mm.
so that they can ripen. And then once they are ready, when the school, like mostly on Sundays, I'll go and sell those bananas beside
The roadside.
the roadside, and I'll make some money. Then I'll take that money to my grandma. So my grandma really loved me for that because my other siblings would not do it. But me, I was just willing to go do it. I was having fun that time because I was very young. I'm like, if a stranger is buying bananas from me and giving me money, well, this is amazing. So yeah, I loved that. And because of that, most of the time when everything was happening during the night at our homestead, at my grandmother's place, nothing was happening there. So I felt safer sleeping at my grandmother's place
Right.
than our own home. And because she loved me so much, me and my younger sister will sleep there and we'll have all the, you know, she was a great cook. So, so we will eat there, and then in the morning she will wake me up, and then she would help me get ready to go to school. Then I'll go to school, And then in the evening, I my sister usually had, because we had cows, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had to take care of some cows, and this like we had at all the time we usually had one milking cow. So we'll, after school, we have to come back and get some napier grass, and
Mm-hmm.
go chop off some napier grass. Make sure that the cow has napier grass, so that in the morning my oldest sister will just come and milk the cow, and the milk we'll use it to make tea and stuff like that. So yeah, that's part of my upbringing, and it was not easy, um, not easy growing up in such a you know unbalanced kind of lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of it, I and my sister felt safer living with my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember that time when, before my mom and dad had a disagreement and they decided to separate. My mom didn't like my grandmother because my grandmother used to tell my dad what's going on,
Right.
right? Because my grandmother didn't like what my mom was doing.
Right.
Just to let anyone know what was going on is that, while I was growing up there, because we had a big coffee plantation.
Mm-hmm.
So during like on Saturdays, we'll pick some coffee beans, and all that, and take it to the factory. So my dad and my mom uh, had an income coming in.
Right.
After a few months, they had an income coming in from the plantation of coffee. But Satan comes to destroy and kill, because in in my mom's side mind, that was not enough for her. She felt that was not enough for her to provide,
Yeah, but
even
she
though,
also wasn't being taken care of properly too.
yeah,
So she was alone. She felt
yeah,
alone.
because my dad used to work so much, and he will only come for maybe 2 3 days. So, see, you're married, and this is your wife,
Mm-hmm.
and you are only spending so less time with her. So I do understand why my mom felt lonely,
Yeah.
and because of that, she started selling illegal brew. And my dad was so much against that. Also, my grandmother was very much against that.
Mm-hmm.
But for her, she was using that as part of, bringing in some income into the home, not knowing that that will come and brings confusion and separation from my dad,
Right.
because my dad was not backing that up. You So because of that, that's why there was a lot of friction between her and my dad, and they had to separate because of that. Of course, my grandmother was part of it, because she was against everything my mom was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And just to, not to prolong the story, during that time, I do remember when I was growing up, um, I early in the morning, before I go to school, my mom would go and get a small, small, what, small,
Small cup.
a small cup of the liquor, and I'll taste it,
Mm.
and I'll tell her whether it needs more sugar or it doesn't need more sugar. So she used to make me drink some, and by me doing that, if I like it and say it's perfect, then she'll know in the evening she'll be blessed so much because there will be a lot of people coming to buy the liquor. So I don't know how it was, but anytime I'll say it's perfect, my mom often, my mom often knew that um,
She'll make lots of money.
she'll make a lot of money. Of course, I I did not know as a little child that you know
Mm-hmm. What you were doing.
yeah, that was wrong. To me, it was okay. I'm helping my mom, and there's nothing wrong. But at the end of it, um, after things started going,
But just wait, do
yeah,
you think that that kind of had an impact on your taste for alcohol in your coming years ahead? Do you think that influenced it in any way? Being like given the alcohol from such a young age?
no. The reason why I'm saying no is that after I moved away from the country, and then my dad took me, and I went to the city, to do my,
Schooling?
my schooling. I can't, I, I never used to do it anymore. So there was no liquor during that time of my teenage years when I was doing the schooling until later on in life when I was independent. Then I started drinking.
Right. And so I'm saying, like, don't you find like that would have been like
An open door.
an open door, but also like
Yeah.
you crave it. So like you don't even know that you're craving it, but from a
But
young age, that's a
yeah,
flavor that
that's a flavor that
kind
was
of just
introduced.
ignited
Yeah,
once you drank it, and
yeah,
it was like, oh man, this is
yeah. I think could be because when I started drinking, I just felt the urge every weekend that I want to have a drink. And sometimes, if I want to have a drink, one is not enough. I want two, three, or four. Like there was that urge of just wanting to keep going.
right. Anyways, we're jumping ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, where was I? So I
Then you're moving to the city.
yeah. Then when I moved to the city and I started going to school, my my dad was there, but not present,
Right.
because I could only see him a few hours during the night, and he's gone.
Right.
So I moved from the country. Now I'm in the city. Now this is a different kind of a lifestyle, and I can't even I can't know how my dad is. Like he's
Well, he's not present in your life, like
he's not.
for a
So
young boy.
yeah, from a young boy. So what's happening is that um, I go to school, then I come back from school. I try as much as I can to do homework when I'm in school, but when I get home, I do as much as I can, but time limit is there because we often got out of school from 3:30 or 4 o'clock. By the time you get home, it's around 5. So you're trying to do as much as you can before going back home. And then when I get back home, I need to play soccer. That's me. So, so
Yeah,
it
but
was
okay,
yeah,
that's any kid.
yeah,
Like
that
wants to play.
yeah,
Like
cause
they're kids.
cause you from school we often got to school at 7 o'clock, 7:30. You are late, and you teachers are there waiting for you at 7:30, and if you get late, then you are whipped. They used to have canes, right? and I did not want to be whipped. Like you, they will whip your hands, right?
Mm.
And it was so painful because when you go in class, you are crying. At the same time, your hands are your hands are painful. You can hardly write well that morning.
Right.
So everybody who used to hear, there was a fear that you can be late, you can be late, you have to be on time. So I did my best to be there on time. Anyway, so moving to the city was a different lifestyle than my country upbringing. And here I am growing up. My older siblings are going to school, a different school. I'm also going to a different school. So we were not in the same school.
Right. But were you taught anything about God? Like
No.
siblings or parents or anything like that? Like nothing about.
Nobody ever opened the Bible at our home. The only thing I could hear my dad, you always, because he was a Seventh Day Adventist, right?
Mm.
You always say, you guys need to go to church on Sunday, if you or Saturday. You need to go to church, but he's not there to take us to church. He always worked like he worked
Like 7 days a week.
7 days a week. I can't blame him because he felt he's the only breadwinner, right? And he has to provide. He has to pay. He has to provide everything. So yeah, he did work hard. At the same time,
Yeah, but he also wore himself out.
yes, it was hard. And not until later in life when I had to ask him, like, few questions here and there, as a parent, he felt like there was no way to make us comfortable without him working. And because he worked in hotel industry, I do understand there is no schedule. It's not like here, they work you off there in Africa. So I really cannot blame him for not being there for us.
Right.
On the other hand, anyone who grew up in such a situation, such an upbringing, it only takes miracles and grace from God to be a better person in life and walk with Him. Because there's so much stuff that was happening in my upbringing that could have really pulled me away completely from God's blessings. So all I can say is that it's only by His grace. Like, it's only by His grace that I'm the way I am now. Because I do remember when I was about a teenager, and I would go and play soccer. There is a lot of influence from other teenagers to do drugs. I knew personally that doing drugs is not the way. So I really avoided that. And because I avoided that, they came up with all kinds of names,
right,
on me, of which I came to know later on in my life. Oh, is that what they meant by calling me that? It's not funny because that time I'm playing with them soccer, I'm so happy, and
yeah, but maybe that was God protecting your mind from knowing that.
Yeah, until later on when I came here, then I came to, like, that name kept ringing in my head. They used to call me this. I sat down in the, wow, is that what they meant by that? So it's funny because the Lord protected me,
Mm-hmm.
because if I knew that's what they meant for me, then I could have, like,
Maybe done what they were wanting you to do because
yes,
it would have influenced you to not be bugged.
yes. So yeah, that was part of my upbringing, and yeah, until my teenage life. How about you? You have something to
Well, so
add
then
on?
yeah, I still have more.
Yeah, yeah,
Then from seeing the angel,
yeah,
then there was going to sleepovers all the time.
yeah,
Like my parents wouldn't, uh, which I don't blame my mom because my dad wasn't around a lot,
yeah,
just like yours.
yeah,
Was home every night, but wasn't home, like because he would work and work and work, and so when he came home, we got the tired dad
yeah. He
that was
doesn't
ready to
want to
go.
do
Right,
anything.
there was nothing left to do, and then on the weekends it was like sales and
Yeah,
auctions and all that, and so we were left with nothing because then he wanted to selfishly fill his what he wanted to do because then he's on a break
yeah,
on his days off. He wants to do what he wants to do instead of, hey, let's figure out something so we can spend time as a family. So I craved something from a young age from my dad that he wasn't able to give
providing.
me.
Yeah,
And then I was about 11 or 12. My grandparents, because we were at my grandparents a lot. It was like almost twice or three times in a month. Go there every weekend. So then they brought us to it would be my great uncle's house, who had a son about 16, and I was 11.
yeah,
And he said, oh, so me and my brother go up to the hay loft with him.
yeah,
And he's like, oh, how would you pretend you're a horse? I think I was maybe 9, actually.
yeah,
It was before 10. And I was young, and he was 16 or 17. And my brother, he's like, so he's a year older than me, so he would have been like 10, 11.
yeah,
Who, like, he's young too. So this older boy taking us to the hayloft, he's asking me to pretend I'm a horse, and then he's like mounting me like a male horse, and then he's touching my body in places that I didn't.
not knowing what he's doing, of
No,
course.
I'm
Yeah,
pretending I'm a horse.
yeah,
Like,
it's
and
fun.
he knows what he's
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
because he's like 16,
yeah,
17.
yeah,
And so he's feeling things, and I remember going off, and then I was totally different after that because I was like,
mm,
I want to feel that again. Like those feelings that were aroused in me, I want to
yeah,
feel that again. And so then that's when I started masturbating, and from a young age. But that was the trigger, was from that. I never had no feelings of that before prior until I got molested
it,
from him.
it's sad because the devil always uses uh, some loopholes.
Right, and kids are
Yeah,
innocent, like they're not
yeah,
thinking anything.
yeah,
And he puts people in your life that know these things, that will get these things rolling, and you just have all these open doors. But it didn't help that my mom and dad were not living for God.
yes.
Like,
Because if they were prayerful, and if they were,
if they were fighting in the spiritual realm, it would
yeah,
have been different because then there would
yeah,
have been protection on us kids,
yeah,
and we have choices to make then. But me in that scenario, like, I would have known something was off
yes,
because of my mom and dad's prayers, but there was no, it was like, now you lay me down to sleep. Like, there was no spiritual prayers in my home. And my grandparents,
yeah,
no,
no,
no, there was no prayer. I remember sleeping at my grandparents' house and being like freaked out. So I would always ask my grandma and grandpa, like, can you keep the bathroom light on?
because
It
of
was
fear.
so dark. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
From a young age, there was fear of mice, moths, dark.
time. I
And I
remember.
had like, I'm not kidding, like a
Yeah,
real fear of mice. And you know that because
yeah,
some stories.
yeah. You know, I know.
But I like such a fear playing outside in the grass.
Yeah,
I would start, my mind would go wild, just be like, oh, there's a mouse right here. There's a mouse crawling over your foot. And I would just feel things and just scream, like, and be caught in the game because I'm like, I cannot stay here any longer. But that was like, from then started masturbating, then starting to look for boys because I was told I looked like a boy. So I
yeah.
have to make
So
it known that I'm not a boy
yeah.
because I'm not a boy. So I'm
So
going to
you
start looking and starting being attracted to these boys from a young age,
oh,
telling my mom, I'm going to marry this person. I'm gonna marry, and I'm like 9, 10, telling my mom, and she's just laughing, thinking it's funny. But that was because of the being molested,
yeah,
then masturbating. It was like I want to feel these things, and I like lusting from a young age. So
yeah.
I like that guy, and I want from a young age, and then like
On the other hand, if your parents were really talking to you and guiding you, this is how you want to be treated. Like if
my dad, okay, dads play a big role in the daughter's life as well
yeah,
as the son's lives. So my dad was not showing me the way he was to my mom was like neglecting, and I'm working, so that should be enough. Kind of like what your dad
yeah,
thought, like
probably,
this is
yeah,
enough.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but
That's
a
yeah,
woman, and what I know as a woman,
yeah.
I want I want your
Y-
full attention.
yeah.
Like,
You want to be loved
right, not
and
just
appreciated.
right, not just provided for, but I want to feel that you love me and only me. And so my mom wanted that, wanted the to be affirmed of that, and alone time with my dad, and there was just none of that. And uh
And of course, you as a girl, you take on to that.
right, and so seeing
Yeah,
that, it's like, oh, so I don't need a guy. So my mom and dad are fine because you don't know the
yeah,
behind the scenes stuff,
yeah,
right? So I
yeah.
just, as a kid, think my mom
you
and dad are
just
fine.
you just see what you see, and it just stays there in your mind.
Right. And so what my
Yeah,
dad was showing me was like, you don't need a man to be fondling over you, and you don't need a man to take you out on dates. You don't need a guy to be, holding your hand in public and open the doors for you and being a gentleman. No, there was none of that. It was, I'm here, here's your money, and I'm going to bed, kind of thing. And so
and that's where most of the uh, husbands, and I'm guilty of that. That's where most of the husbands fail, because they only think, if you're providing. Of course, I know and I understand it's not easy working 8 hours, 10 hours every day and coming home and
my dad's job was a lot in the summertime, was like
yeah,
14, 15 hours. So I understand he was tired, but there was
yeah,
still the times that he had off
yeah,
should have been to my mom, but his times off, he'd go golfing with his friends, or he'd go and go out for coffee with his friends, go to auctions with his friends. Like, it was always, I want my friends over my wife. And that, where I see my mom got hurt in that because she
yeah.
wanted something from my dad that my dad wasn't giving her. But anyways, so that influenced me to see how a man should be treating a woman. And so when I looked, it was just like, oh, I can just have whatever I want because it doesn't matter how he treats me, it doesn't matter what he says to me, just as long as he's what
Just
looks good.
yeah, looks good on your eyes, but at
Yeah,
the same time, yeah, it's a terrible way to view it.
I know. And I know that. But as a young kid,
Yeah,
and you had these things arousing you that shouldn't have been aroused from a young age, you want that so badly that you just seek out in any way.
whatever.
Because I remember going to my dad saying, hey, I want to,
Go
can you
for
take me go
coffee.
for coffee? Like, can we go to for out for supper? Or he wouldn't respond to that. It was just like I was feeling rejected from my dad. So a way that I wouldn't feel rejected was putting some makeup on
Yeah,
and looking all dolled up, and then I would have looks from men, and that filled my tank,
Yeah.
having these men whistle at me or having these men look at me and saying that I look beautiful. And so I wanted more of that. So from there, it just trickled out into other ways.
It's funny because while you are looking for affirmation, from your dad to show love towards you and your mom, he's not present, he's not there, he's not showing that. So you are seeking it outside your home.
Right.
At the same time, me here in Africa, I don't have none of that. My mom is not there. So it's like I'm left all alone. I have to figure these things all by my own,
Yeah,
right?
no, but I still
Mm.
I wasn't taught well. Just because my parents were there doesn't mean that I was taught well. Like I was taught very unhealthy. Like my mom, I remember, closed the door, hours on the phone with my grandma or whoever because she was trying to like deal with things with that she was feeling with my dad so we wouldn't know about it.
Yeah.
But she didn't realize the impact that it did on me. I can't speak for my other sibling, but for me,
Mm.
I wanted my mom.
No,
I wanted my mom to help me with my schoolwork. I wanted my mom to like make us lunch. I wanted my mom to come outside for a walk with us, but she would be she was
stay.
depressed.
Yeah.
Like looking back on those scenarios, like she was depressed. She wanted something from my dad, wasn't getting it, and so she would go on the phone for hours and hours, but not realizing she was neglecting us outside this door. Not this door, but like
Yeah.
the door that she
Yeah.
would close,
Yeah.
and we were not allowed in. So
Until she's
there's
done.
us
Until
kids,
she's done.
right? But even then, she'd come out, get a bite to eat, and then go back in her room. And it was the what we lived through
Yeah.
is what was, and that's why I said it was so hard to live through that because that was like my childhood. Going back to that, like shut the door. I'm here inside this room. You're not allowed in, and like it felt rejection to me as a young
Yes.
kid. Was like, man, I'm not good enough for my mom. Like she doesn't want to make us lunch. She doesn't want to spend time with me. She doesn't want to come outside even
So
for a walk
it's
or
your older siblings making lunch for you.
us just grab whatever we wanted. Like just grab whatever you can find. So it was like foraging for ourselves. From a young age, I was a forager.
Oh goodness. Anyway, that's part of our testimony here.
The part one. We
Yeah,
can
part
do
one.
the
Yeah.
part one and the second part another day.
Yes. I hope you guys will be blessed.
What I think about is there's power in the testimony.
Yes.
Because the verse says they overcame him by the power of the blood and the word of their testimony. And so the reason why I feel led to speak about my testimony is because I'm praying and I know that there's power in it and God's going to use it to help even just one person. And if I can just help one person from doing what I've done in this hard life, or someone that's dealing with certain feelings and they don't know how to express themselves, that they'll watch this video in these 3 parts and just feel the Holy Spirit through the screen and feel led to draw closer to him by it.
For all, it's for the glory of the Lord.
Right.
Yes. Have a blessed day.